Litchfield's GT-R is probably the exact opposite of what people will tell you that a GT-R is to drive. You'll have heard a million times that they're easy to drive, they understeer a bit on track, they're heavy, and they drive themselves essentially. I don't believe that of the standard car anyway, but this car takes it to a whole different level. It's got well over 1,000 horsepower. The suspension is really, really trick and incredibly aggressive. They've taken hundreds of kilos out of the entire shell. And what's left is a GT-R in name. And in some respects, you feel the GT-R in it, but it's a different experience. I guess key to it is going to be that engine, because it's so powerful and it's got such a wide power band, but it's still turbocharged and it's got God only knows how much torque, and that makes a big difference, particularly because we only drove it in the very worst conditions of the whole test, sadly. So trying to get down 1,100–1,200 horsepower in the damp is almost impossible. I think for the time lapse we dialed it back to about 900. It would still light its tyres up in third and fourth gear. And I just remember being excited, terrified, wanting to go home, wanting to drive it all day. It's one of those cars that just does that to you. Basically, super pointy, instant turn-in oversteer, because the tyres, it was hard to get the tyres hot in these conditions. That worked in some of the slower corners, because it meant there was no understeer. But in the quick corners, it felt really intimidating, because you'd brake, the car would instantly start to slide at the rear, you'd turn in and there'd be a bit more oversteer, and it felt edgy. I'd love to try it in the dry, but regardless of that, it almost doesn't matter that I would have tweaked the balance here and there, because this car it's almost a cartoon car, and you want everything to match the madness of that engine. And I think the chassis did, and the Alcon brakes, the ceramic brakes, absolutely required for this car because it's so fast. It's a hard one to sum up, but you're always waiting for the big spike of oversteer. As soon as that power comes in, bang, you just get a big spike of oversteer. Doesn't matter what gear you're in. So it's about managing the power delivery and just holding on to it and being glad that you survived. I think that's probably the big thing you take away from it. Click on the link to watch the full Track Car of the Year film, and for all the onboard laps, go to the T-Coty playlist.